Welcome, everyone, to MacChat, and I have Michael Babcock here with me. Hey, Michael, how's it going?
Hey, Chris, it's going good. This comes out this coming Thursday, right? Like
It
the
does.
17th?
It sure does.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I almost said my birthday's tomorrow, and then I realized that my birthday is actually like just under a week. Well, it is a week. It's the 24th, so a week from when this comes out.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, an early happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Well, it's great to have you along here on MacChat. Yeah, and we have a lot of really cool things to talk about, some updates, some maybe little pesky bugs or things we want to change, and then I have a lot of tips, and then Michael will come along with whatever he wants to add in here too. So
I'm just along for the ride.
Oh, you're more than along for the ride. You're co-piloting, right?
There we go. Yes,
Hey.
yes. I feel sorry for this plane.
Different platform. Oh dear.
There you go.
Let's see. Is that Google? Oh wait. Anyway. Oh well. I don't know. Microsoft? I don't know I use ChatGPT exclusively, so that's why I don't know what I'm talking about. Yep.
Are you implying that ChatGPT teaches you stuff that may not be accurate?
No, it's just that I don't know who creates what other whatever those AAs are.
Gotcha.
Anyways, love it. Oh my goodness. Well, recently, Sequoia got an update, and we have 15.4, and it came out, I believe, the end of March. And I was really happy about at least one thing that I discovered that it helped me with, and that was that sometimes I would get stuck on the dock. Did you ever get stuck in the dock and couldn't get out?
I only got stuck on the dock when you brought this up, and I'm like, nah, that can't be. And then I went and tried it, and I'm like, that is, because I don't use the dock too often.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I always use the dock. So
we'll have to talk about how we open apps then, because I think that you use the dock because that's how you open apps, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what happened and what did they fix? And we'll have to talk about opening apps.
Yeah, we sure should. So when I got stuck in the dock, I was very frustrated. I had to restart my computer. I don't know. It was just so frustrating. Now the escape key reliably works to dismiss the dock. Who knew?
Yeah. Hey, it does. I just tried it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was very excited. Like, that's the way it should be. So I use the dock, except if something isn't on it, to open apps. How about you? You probably.
I am very fond of a utility called LaunchBar. Have you played with LaunchBar at all?
I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't messed with it.
It's a Spotlight replacement. So when you install LaunchBar, it guides you through disabling the command space keystroke for Spotlight. And the reason I like LaunchBar, when it works, I'm having a little love-hate relationship with it right now, but I think it's a Michael issue and not a LaunchBar issue. And sometimes we got to be able to distinguish the difference in those type of issues.
Right.
But one of my favorite things is I hit command space, and this puts me into LaunchBar automatically. I go into the preferences. Actually, if you type in LaunchBar unmute.show, Demasi did a 36-minute tutorial on all the settings he changes on his LaunchBar to be more efficient with it. One of those is he hides it from the menu bar, which means it doesn't appear in your command tab order. So when you hit command space, this puts you in LaunchBar. The first thing you can do is, start typing what you're looking for. So if I need to open drafts, I can hit command space, type in DRA, and right there is drafts. But more importantly, which makes it even faster, is if I type DR and press and hold the letter A, that actually opens drafts instead of just bringing you to drafts. So if you press and hold the last letter of the abbreviation, and we're going to talk about this, I think, maybe sooner rather than later now, because I'm bringing it up. If I hit command space, I can also hit the tilde key, for example, and that puts me at my home directory. And then I can tap the right arrow, and that'll put me in a list of all of my files in my home directory. And then I can up and down arrow through it. But if, let's say, I type app, that puts me into my applications folder. And then I can down arrow through my applications. And let's say I find drafts, for example. Or again, if we just type DRA, that'll take us right to drafts. Command Option A is a pretty useful shortcut. That's to assign your abbreviation. So instead of me having to type DRA, and press and hold A, I actually assigned the abbreviation D. So when I hit Command Space and then I press and hold the letter D, I'm instantly in drafts. But what's more powerful about that is, for example, if I hit Command Space and I press and hold U, I'm in our unmute Dropbox folder, and I don't have to navigate to Dropbox and go through all those settings. So I am a very huge advocate of LaunchBar. One last thing that I'll mention that well, two last things that it'll do is, let's say you have a file and you find a file that's in the digital bytes drop here folder, and you want to move that to the used folder. You can actually press, you can find the file in LaunchBar, press tab, that takes you to actions for that file, and then find the folder that you want to move it to and hit enter, and LaunchBar says, would you like to copy this or move this? And you pick up and down arrow, you hit move, and then you hit enter. And then the last thing that I'll wrap it up with is clipboard history. On Windows, I was recently introduced to a cool tool called Ditto Clipboard Manager, and that gives you the ability to manage your clipboard, and it will remember everything you copy, which means you can recall anything that you copy. And it's more powerful than the Windows default clipboard manager, because that only remembers 25 entries. I think I've got like 450 entries in my Ditto clipboard manager. Wow. But LaunchBar has a clipboard manager as well, which means if you hit, and I've switched mine to Command Option /, this will put you in a list of the items that you've copied to your clipboard. And that items is not text. So let's say you copied a file to your clipboard and you're like, oh, I need that file again. And you accidentally copied text to your clipboard since then. You can go back into the clipboard history, grab that file and paste it wherever you need. And Clipboard Manager also gives you clip merge. So often I need to copy 3 or 4 files from different locations. So I Command C on a file, and then I go find the next file and I Command CC real quick, and you hear a little lock sound, and then you find the next file and you hit Command CC, and then you can press Command V and paste all those files in one place.
Oh, wow.
I love LaunchBar. It's the best $35 one could spend.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
Yeah.
So Command CC just keeps adding to the list of things you're going to copy.
Yep. And you can do that with text as well.
That is neat.
Yeah.
Wow. I have a lot to think about now. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can put a link to the to Demasi's little tutorial, in our
That's
show.
a good idea. I'll have to go find it and do that.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I really didn't know what power it had. I didn't really know why I might want it. That sounds really great. That's awesome. Excellent.
Now that I've derailed your entire episode.
No, not at all. Nope. Yeah, it all started with, hey, escape now reliably dismisses the dock, and then how we open things. Yes, I do open things from the dock, but I also open them from the applications folder, or I do use Command Space for the spotlight search. So I probably lengthen my journey, but I guess everybody often does things the way you learn them, and then you get introduced to new things, and that's really cool. So, in terms of other things that were fixed that might have been slight bumps in the road for folks using, for instance, Braille displays with Mac, there used to be a problem for some folks in navigating to the wrong line with the left or right arrows. So that was kind of an issue. I don't regularly use a Braille display with my Mac. As huge a Braille fan that I am, I don't know.
Surprising.
I know. It's crazy. I don't use one with my PC either, and I'm trying to figure out why that is. I suppose because I didn't start out using one with the PC, and for some reason I just, I just use speech output. But one thing I have mentioned on previous shows is that my Braille display for me is my downtime device, when I'm not working. And now, even though yesterday I played with my Mac all day and was figuring out the ins and outs of different Finder layouts and taking notes on things and all that sort of thing, it was for, eventual teaching purposes, but it was on my own time. And so, I don't know, the Braille display for me it rings true to, hey, I'm on my own downtime,
I think it also, in I appreciate those who have to use the Braille display, but when I have connected a Braille display, by default, you are overwhelmed with information. And I wonder if that's something that like a sighted person deals with on a regular basis. Whereas text to speech, really, you just hear where you are. I like yesterday, I connected the BI40X to the Mac for the first time, and I had .78 being used everywhere. And I'm like, what is this?
You can turn that off.
Yeah, I realized that, that's identifying where the VoiceOver cursor is, and I went and turned that off. So I think that, and then I was reading my minutes from, or my agenda from drafts on the Braille display, which was great, except for anytime I moved focus with .1 or .4 chord, it would play the little VoiceOver sound, and so I went and turned those sounds off. Then the other thing that kind of threw me off a time or two, again, kind of putting it on the same playing field as a sighted person, is I did not put my computer in Do Not Disturb. So when someone messaged me, guess what? A message popped up on the Braille display.
I know. Yeah. I think we're in the habit, a lot of us, of choosing what we want to have input from, because I feel like, at least I feel like, overwhelmed by input in general. Sometimes, like, every sound might be important. You never know,
Yeah.
And so just trying to filter out what you don't need and to have one less device sometimes to, take in information is maybe what you're talking about, and with all of the things that it would show you potentially. So, yeah, that's interesting. Alrighty then. There was another issue that was fixed. Now, strangely enough, I don't really use Apple Music app on my Mac, but apparently some VoiceOver navigation was broken and it wouldn't navigate things in order. Did you experience that at all?
No, because I don't use Apple Music on my Mac.
You not either.
I use it from a HomePod Mini or my phone, usually, is my interaction with Apple Music. I use it quite a bit on a regular basis, but not from the Mac.
Yeah, it just seems a bit unwieldy. It's just so much easier on the device you can talk to, or your phone, so... Yeah, so in terms of updates, though, here's where we get to talk about the infamous mail categorization, which I turned off as fast as I could. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Why they got to meddling in there, I'll never know. So, yeah, you have primary, transactions, updates, and promotions, and then the all mail. So I quickly, I turned that off for sure. So what I did was I went to the menu in the Mail app, and I went down to View and then down to Show Categories and make sure it is unchecked.
And I just did that. So now I have my real mail back, and there's a lot of powerful stuff in that View menu. So if you haven't checked it out yet, you should go check out some of those options. Oh, so nice to have a packed inbox again.
Yay. At least you know that someone didn't put it somewhere that you weren't expecting.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that tip, Chris. And
of course.
if you're encountering that, I want to... So there's a reason Apple spent time and effort to be able to categorize your mails easily. I want to like it, but my brain doesn't work that way, because I expect to go into my mail and find all of my messages. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. I don't want someone else deciding what's a promotion, what's important or not. I just don't. It feels very like Big Brother to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I gotcha. And if for some reason you haven't figured it out, because I know that they changed this in iOS 18, I believe it was 0.3, in the Mail app, you can go to the More button at the top right corner and then go to List View, and that'll bring all of your messages into one view instead of having to go to different categories.
Definitely. Did that real soon, too.
Yeah, me too. I think I listened to your Digital Byte or Marty's or someone's. I'm like, that's how I fix it. Okay, I'm going to go fix this now.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I definitely turned that off. So, another thing I also turned off is Apple Intelligence. But if I did have it on, I would be able to access several languages they've added: French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Brazil, Spanish, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, English, Singapore, and English, India. So they've apparently added some, languages for Apple Intelligence to work with.
So you don't use any Apple Intelligence?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
I
kind
use
of.
it for summarizing messages and notifications, and it does not do that good of a
Uh-oh.
job with that.
Looks like I'm not missing anything then.
No, not right now.
No, I don't know. I'm frustrated with how slow the rollout is, how they
Mhm,
overpromise and underdeliver, and Apple is usually not that way. So
mhm.
and also I don't know what it's going to do to things like this mail categorization until I figure that out really quick. Like I don't know what it's going to do to things if it's going to, so I just tell my students just turn it off. And when it gets better, I'll let you know. I mean, it's certainly their choice, but I just don't want it doing things that I don't know that it's doing.
Now, on Technically Working, um, Demasi mentioned an issue he's having, and I'm wondering if you're encountering this too. And my brain goes, "Oh, you're having that issue? Let me upgrade and see if I have it, because I won't have the issue." And now I'm facing it.
Mm,
Do you use ChatGPT from the web?
I do.
Okay. Are you able to read your messages in Safari? Because
Um,
I cannot. I have to copy, and neither could he. We have to copy our message with Command Shift C and then paste it somewhere to be able to
right.
read it.
Yeah, that is what I was experiencing today. Now, it read it out in one fell swoop to me the
Yep.
first time, but I couldn't go and interact with it and arrow up and down through it.
Yes. Yep. I am encountering that too. So that is a little gotcha that if you're having that issue, it is not just you. I can confirm that prior to this update that I did on
Mhm.
Friday, I could read just
Yep.
fine. After
Mhm.
this update, I could not read. Now, the
Mhm.
conspiracy theorist in my mind goes, well, ChatGPT is doing so darn good. Apple's going to be
Yep.
like, you should try our Apple Intelligence. We're going to make it so you can't read it with VoiceOver.
That's funny. Well, what I'm wondering is if it would matter what browser you used, because if I have issues with Safari, I try Chrome and sometimes things are fixed, and I have a little
Mm,
tip for us later on about that.
okay.
So I would try it in Chrome and see if it behaves any better.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I was experiencing that. What happened? I know it just said that. I know I just sent it a query. It made me a beautiful answer here, and I want to get to it, but I can't. And like, where'd it go? I know it's here.
Command
So,
Shift C is a powerful keystroke to copy the last message from ChatGPT.
yep.
So I use that quite regularly, and then Shift Escape will move your focus back to the edit box no matter where you are on the web page.
Excellent. Love it. So the Command Shift C, that's not related to the last voiceover
No, that's
utterance.
VO Shift C. Command
VO
Shift C
Shift
is
C.
specifically an OpenAI ChatGPT keystroke.
Got it. I knew that I thought of that for a reason, but if you add VO to the Shift C to command,
Yep.
what is it? VO
VO Shift C
is
is
copy the
copy
last
last.
utterance.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And then
And then
Command Shift C is copy last message from ChatGPT. And if you want, because this is what people always need. Hold on,
mhm.
let me see. Let me see if I can do it. Because the okay, I believe Command Shift. Oh, that's what it is. And if you want, VO Shift Z will save the last spoken phrase from VoiceOver as an audio file. So if you need to show someone what something sounds like, that'll save it to your desktop as an audio file.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So I'm hoping we're going to get a summary of all these keyboard commands when we're done with this, right?
AI, get to work.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yes. And unless anyone's taking notes, I'm not. I'm following along with the things I've written down here. So
You'll have to go listen to it then.
I
There you
will have
go.
to listen to
See?
this again. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
That's how we get our numbers up.
That's right. At least two more listen numbers. So, yeah, that's really great. I love that. Yeah. So try the Chrome browser to see if you can read your Chat GPT entries, that the things that it types back. And it's really good, by the way, about if I want things without all those stars and number signs and all that, I'll say write these instructions without any special formatting,
Uh-huh.
and it will do that for me because honestly, I don't need to hear number, 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 and star, 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 and like really. So,
So, if you go into your settings in ChatGPT and you go
mhm.
to your prompt, you can append to the beginning of your prompt and say, when sharing responses with me, please do not include markdown. And then that
Oh,
will prevent it always from putting the markdown in your messages for you.
oh, nice. Then I'll forget it, and then I'll wish I hadn't, and then I have
Yep.
to send another message, and then it
Yep.
has to rewrite it again. That's great.
Exactly.
That's good, and it does a good job with voiceover stuff, and describing things and keystrokes, and it does pretty well. So that's really cool.
It's also good at helping me with JAWS stuff too, which
Yep.
is interesting. So
Yeah. Cool. So, apparently now I don't use widgets, but apparently there are some new widgets, especially for Apple Podcasts. For example, if you wanted a widget for the shows that you follow. And so I
okay.
just wrote that little detail down. So
Not only do I not use widgets, but I don't use Apple Podcasts either.
I don't either. Nope. Yeah, I love Castro. So
Yeah.
I
Did
really
you know you
do.
can download Castro to your Mac?
Ooh, I'm not sure if I did or not.
Yeah. The problem with it is Castro does not do dynamic synchronization. So
Oh,
if you want to synchronize, you have to go into your phone settings, go down to back up your Castro, and then go into Castro on your Mac and restore Castro, and then everything will come through as it should, which I don't do. But I have the app on, and I always forget that I have it on until it needs an update.
oh no.
So
It seems like a bit of a hassle to
yeah,
do that.
just a little
Huh.
bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm usually relaxing on the couch with my phone anyway when I'm listening to podcasts, so that's probably what I'm inclined to do. So, also, there are 8 new emoji, I guess, that came to iOS or iPadOS, and so I was amused to read about the new emoji. So, we must have a lot of tired people in the world because there's face with bags under eyes. Tired person. Okay, and there's a fingerprint, a leafless tree, a root vegetable. So that could be, carrot, potato, onion. I don't know which one. A harp, a shovel, and a splatter. I don't know what that means. It could be any kind of splatter, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that would be funny. Okay. So of course, the Unicode Consortium okays all these things. And so
Mhm.
I don't know how they get voted on or how that all happens, but apparently they thought we needed those 8 new emoji. So I don't use emoji on my Mac so much. Sometimes I'll use it on my Windows computer, but occasionally I'll use it on my phones. But I don't generally use it too much on my Mac.
So, I always have something. If
Mhm.
you press Command Space and you're using LaunchBar and you type EMO, that'll
Mm,
put you into a emoji indexing rule. And you tap your right
nice.
arrow and you have
Uh-huh.
activity, animals and nature, flag, food and drink, objects, smileys, symbols, travel and places. And then
Mhm.
if you tap right arrow and let's say you want a airplane, you type in AIR and there's
Mhm.
your airplane emoji that you can insert.
Oh,
So
cool.
that's an option. And then there's also an app on the Mac called Rocket, which is a way you can hit a keystroke and then just type in the name of an emoji and then hit enter and that'll insert the emoji
Oh,
as well.
wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
So now
Yeah.
all of Chris's work emails are going to start having raised flag emojis in the subject line.
Totally. Yeah, for sure. Well, actually, my work emails are on Windows, and all I have to do is press Windows period, and then I
Yep.
type what I need, what I want, and I have some cool, like, little, things in my emails. So,
I always use the
oncoming.
fire emoji at random
Oh,
points.
wow, okay.
Not sure if that's
I'm
good or bad.
Uh-oh. That's pretty funny. I have oncoming taxis and trucks and
Ah,
homemade, like, food and, all kind of stuff, so kind of fun. Yep, lighten up the atmosphere. So, also, I didn't know about this, but, and one of the other new updates is a quick start mode. So I guess, and I don't know how often I've done this, but previously with your iPad or iPhone, you could scan a code on an Apple device and transfer the settings from that device to a new one that you might be setting up. Have you ever done
mhm.
that before?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. I typically
So,
don't because I set my devices up as new most of the time, but I've
mhm,
done it before.
yeah. So apparently now you can use your Mac to do that code
Huh.
thing. So that's kind of cool.
That's kind of scary. What is it going to do? Like, huh. Okay. So it must copy over like your Wi-Fi details and your iCloud details and stuff.
I would think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. So interesting.
I might try that.
Yeah. What's missing according to 9 to 5 Mac, what's missing that's present in iOS, what we don't have on the Sequoia 15.4 is priority notifications, and then, the cooking, section in the news app. which is on the phone. I haven't really
There's a cooking section in the news app?
apparently, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
Huh.
mostly just go there to play the crossword puzzles and occasionally read a news article when, I can deal with what I'm reading about. But mostly I go and find the crossword puzzles and play them. I love those.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can search for crossword puzzle at unmute.show and listen to Chris explain how to use those on the news app.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Came in handy the other day when I went to the dentist, as I try to get my thoughts onto something mental and intellectual rather than physical. What's going
Yeah.
on? And they were also helping me with some of the assistant would look down and say, "Oh, I know that one," and so she'd give me the hint, and I was had my AirPod in, and I was doing crossword puzzles on my phone in the dentist chair. So
I like it.
it works really well for me. I also could ask them questions because, I have your mouth full of tools.
Yeah.
And so you could ask them questions. So that's kind of fun too. So yeah, different purposes for your phone. So that's awesome. Well, do you have any other, comments on those updates or anything before I move to lots of fun Mac tips? Of course,
Mm,
not like we haven't given any
right.
already.
Right. Exactly. No, I don't have any comments aside from ChatGPT does work in Chrome.
Yeah.
So if you're having that issue, you can experiment with that. But B, thank you for telling me how to get rid of the categories, because I'm like, it's got to be an easy fix, but I'm going to wait till we record this
Yep.
before I go fix it.
Awesome. You're welcome. And I'm glad that ChatGPT is working on Chrome. That's great. Excellent. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I have a number of Mac tips and things that I wanted to, add to our collection. So, recently, uh, someone on Mastodon that I follow asked, "Hey, list view or column view when you're in Finder?"
Mm.
And so, before we started recording, we were talking about this, and we both do this differently. So I'm just curious, which view is it for you, and why have you chosen that view, either list view or column view?
Column view, and because I've used it ever since 1947. I mean, I don't know how long it's been, but I've always used column view.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, like Demasi, for example, is a huge component of using list view. He likes
Mm-hmm.
list view. So
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about trying it, but then it just throws my whole day off.
Oh no, you don't need your
What about you?
workflow thrown off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like column view was too busy, too much stuff.
Mm.
And so I've used a Mac now for 12, 13 years, I would say. And I'm self taught, so just taught myself what I know, learned a lot from David Woodbridge and all those Vision Australia tutorials and, Apple Viz and different things. But I generally have used List View because I felt like it was less uh, complicated, less to think about maybe. But the thing that could get confusing with list view is that when you're arrowing down through or VO down arrow through your files, you could wander into another folder because they're either, collapsed or expanded, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when you're in column view, if you're going down through your list of files, you get to the bottom of that column and you cannot go into another folder unless you consciously make an effort to go back to the left and find that other folder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I think that I like about it, because I'm playing with column view right now. And for those who don't know, you can hit Command 1, which takes you to icon view, which
Don't do that.
honestly, I mean, I get what they're doing here, but don't do that. Command 2 will take you to list view, and then Command 3 will take you to column view. And then there's Command 4 for gallery view, which I'm not quite sure about that one either.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. If you go to column view, when you get to, like, I'm on a folder called bin, if I tap my right arrow key, then that puts me into that particular folder. Now, if I hit Command 2, I'm in list view, and then I'm on bin, and what I try doing is hitting my right arrow, and now it does say row 2 expanded.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I could get used to this, actually. It's not horrible.
Yeah, the only thing is when you get to the end of the contents of row 2, it'll go down to the next folder. And you have to be
Oh,
aware of where you are and when it changes. And so it's like this never-ending vertical list, which could
gotcha.
trip some
Okay.
people up
Yeah.
because, you know, you have to be paying attention to the fact that you're in another folder now. You've,
Right.
and then when you're on the folder name, then you can press left arrow and it should collapse the folder that you're in list view. So only when you're on the name of the folder.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, one advantage to list view that might be more reliable is I'm on a folder now called include. If I press VO right arrow, I'm on my date modified or my
Yep.
size or my
Mhm.
kind. So it does now, it will loop you down to the next file, like Chris was saying too. If you press VO right arrow, and now I'm on lib folder expanded, and VO backslash will collapse that row too if you need to as well.
Mhm.
Um, so and if I go to column view and then I press VO right arrow, it's just opening these packages and then it says blank here, and then I can
Mhm.
do VO down arrow and that gives me information about this. But I think I don't know, I think maybe I should play with list view because
Mhm.
if you go to list view, then you can also go up to the view menu in Finder and customize what it is that is available right there as well.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I thought I would sort of play with column view, but I may default to what I've been doing for the last 13 years, but um definitely check out both of those and as listeners, and see which one you like best and just kind of be mindful of what's collapsed or expanded.
Also, spend some time in the preferences of Finder
Mhm.
because you can configure Finder. Because if you're anything like me, you'll just jump in there and just use it how it is by default. But for example, you can tell Finder to open folders in new tabs instead of windows, which
Mhm.
is a change that you can make. You can also go in and customize what appears in the sidebar. You can go in and make modifications to how long things stay in the trash. So definitely worth hitting Command comma on when you have Finder open to go explore the preferences there as well.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate that because I forget to kind of go through those preferences because I get to what I, have chosen and it's like, that's the way it always is, right? Um, Also, I discovered that in preferences, you can put all folders on the top. So it used
Oh,
to be that my folders were mixed in with my files, and it was all just kind of alphabetical.
yep,
And, I think this was maybe under advanced, um, of preferences under Finder, and you could put folders on top so that it would
yep.
like, on my Windows computer, it's all in folders on top and then all the files.
In
So
Windows, when sorting by name, you can keep folders on top or on desktop. That is amazing. Like,
mhm.
oh, I didn't even know you could do that. That throws me off when I'm on Windows and when I'm on Mac. As
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, I'm used to it now because I spend time all in both operating systems.
Right.
But still, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that. I didn't know if you knew about that, but I just learned about that yesterday because I thought, "What is going on?" I got files mixed up with folders and it's all just alphabetical, and I appreciate alphabetical, but I don't want them all mixed up, and so then I went looking around and I might have done a YouTube thing. I think I found it. I'm sure I probably went to ChatGPT, but eventually I found the setting and, I was super happy about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So show all your folders in one place on the top.
Mhm.
So, um, another thing that I remembered again, another tip is changing the function key behavior of the F1, F2,
Mm,
F3. Use them at add the function key to them to do what is printed on the key, like your volume up, volume down, that sort of thing.
mhm.
And I needed to tell a new student that because that is not on by default. And I would rather use the function keys with the voiceover keys and, make that super easy to do for this person. So, anyways, I visited with that. And what I did was I went to the settings center. I typed F1 into the search box because I had trouble finding it, and then it
Yeah, it's
popped
buried.
up. Yeah, it really is, under keyboard and, use function keys as and, add the globe key, it says,
Yep.
and so that's what I did. So that was fun to, sort of uncover that setting. So, let's see. You had a keyboard aha, really excellent moment this week with
Mm.
parallels. Did you want to talk about that? That Steven shared with you?
Yeah, so, I'm all about this parallels thing. I like parallels because it gives me the
Mhm.
best of both worlds, and what I've done is I went into Parallels Desktop, and then I hit Command, comma, and then I went to the toolbar, and I went over to Shortcuts and press VO space on that. Now I'm using VOCR, so I can hit Command, Control, Shift, W, and that captures a copy of the screen, and then you use Command Control to move up and down through the screen. And I was able to move over to where it says Mac System Shortcuts, and under Mac System Shortcuts, it says macOS System Shortcuts, etc., will be sent to the virtual machine. By default, this is set to automatic. If you change it to always, then that means when you're in a Windows machine, unless you actually specifically press a VO keystroke or move the mouse to one of the corners, then pressing Command Tab or Option Tab if you haven't fixed your keys will never take you out of the virtual machine. And it's like running a virtual machine. I additionally went into Windows 11. I downloaded Sharp keys from Randy Rants, and I went down and changed special left Windows key to be special left Alt key, and I changed special left Alt key to be special left Windows key. And so now what that means is that when I'm in Windows, if I press Command Tab, it'll just Alt tab me through all the icons in Windows that are open. And if I get out of Windows and I'm on the Mac, I can hit Command Tab to, again, go through all the windows that are open. So it makes it a really amazing experience. And then once you change those keystrokes for the function keys, like Chris was just talking about, then Command F4 is the same as pressing Alt F4 in Windows, and that just works as well. So one little change to Parallels can definitely improve the experience for users.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. I still need to play with that. I think I defaulted to Ira to help me change that
Yeah.
setting, and so I'm gonna experiment with that some more. That's really awesome. But, yeah, kudos to Steven from Double Tap for sharing that with you.
Exactly. DoubleTapOnAir.com.
Woohoo.
Not
Yeah.
sponsored by them. Although Steven. Oh.
Oh, Steven's awesome. So, let's see here. I have, um, a couple more here. So, when I have an annoying pop-up ad on Safari, I was hoping to get to the close button by doing VO right or left arrow,
Mhm.
and I cannot do that for some reason. So, just a little tip, if you tab to it, you should be able to get to the close button to close that little pop-up. So,
Okay.
tabbing was the only thing that worked for me with an annoying pop-up. So, sometimes you would think that, it's maybe sometimes interchangeable. I don't know, VO right arrow and tab and things, not really. And so, just using the tab is going to get you that button.
Yeah. Okay. I was not aware of using the tab. In those instances, I leverage VOI a lot of times and just
Hmm.
type in the word close and hit enter, but that
Oh,
doesn't
nice.
work all the time.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Well, it seemed to be pretty close
Yeah.
proximity to where I was, so that worked for me.
Good.
Yeah. And then here's another reason to use Chrome besides I'm not really down on Safari. I use it most of the time, but Um, so when I open a tab in Safari, I mean, I do the Option L, right? And I type what I'm searching for, what I'm going to, and it usually doesn't echo the letters, even though I don't have typing echo turned on. So, but when I open a separate address bar thing, it will say from the beginning each time when I'm typing, it'll just repeat from the beginning, from the beginning, from the beginning what I'm typing, and it's
Mm.
absolutely annoying. And so what I tried was I thought, well, I wonder if I use Chrome, it will do that, and it does not. And so apparently I don't get the same type of echo when I'm typing into the search bar what I'm looking for, a website or a search terms and things. So Safari has a couple things to be fixed here. But it's a good reason to just try a different browser if you have a frustrating experience. Some websites behave differently on different browsers. So,
Yep. And that's the case on Windows too. So it's
mhm,
always good to have multiple solutions to solve your problems.
it is definitely. Yeah. Excellent. Well, I feel like this has been a wealth of information. I have a lot to think about, so many tips and programs and suggestions. Yeah. What are you thinking about all that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just, while we were talking, went to my Mastodon at payon@dragonscave.space, PAYOWN, and shared that link to Damasi's LaunchBar tutorial where he walked through preferences. So you can
Hmm.
grab it from there. It is not available on unmute.show, so I had to go hunt it down. Apparently, it was a technically working episode, and I thought it was something we did on
Oh.
Unmute, which kind of makes a little more sense because it was more in depth. And
Mhm.
so I shared that, but we'll put it in the show notes for this episode for people who are interested in giving that a listen.
That is really great. And I'm personally looking forward to an AI summary of all these keyboard commands and keystrokes and steps and things. That would be awesome.
I'll forward you what Zoom gives us. It's probably
We'll
not going
see.
to be the best, but I'll forward
Okay.
it to you.
That's okay. No problem at all.
No pressure at all, Zoom AI. Hope
Yeah,
you're
really,
listening.
really. Right, exactly. We all just put GPT to work on some of this stuff sometime, I hope.
There you go.
So, that's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
thanks
what
for
do you
having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for joining me. And then if folks want to get in touch about this show or anything else, what's the best way for them to do that, Michael?
Feedback@unmute.show. And if you want to shoot comments to Chris directly, feedback@unmute.show. We'll forward those along to her. Unless, of course, she wants to share her phone number and social security number
Not so
and
much.
email address and all that stuff. But feedback@unmute.show will get over to us, and we can share that along. You can go search for other MacChat episodes at unmute.show.